Okay. Hello everyone. Good afternoon. So today we're in Indian's first virtual student AI conference, Orbit Shifters. So today I'll be more like the most number of audience are students. I'll be most concentrating upon the demystifying AI jargon. So there will be a lot of confusion between students. What is data science? What is artificial intelligence? What is machine learning? What is big data? So there are a lot of things. So today my conference will be most concentrate on the what is the difference between each and everything. So it's up to you whether you see them as a technology or whether you see them as a science.
Revan,
So yeah,
your voice is a little bit low. Can you just adjust your mic headset or something? Your voice is a little bit low.
1 minute. Let me remove my headphones. Is it clear now?
Better.
Is it clear now?
Speak again.
Is it clear now?
Yeah, better, somewhat better.
Hello. I think it is clear now, right?
Yeah, yeah, better.
Yeah. Okay. So today I'll be more concentrating on what is the difference between each and every technology. So what is a platform? So that will be from my side. So as the most number of audience are from students, they'll be passing out recently. Of course, there are experienced people as well. So you'll be knowing that what is the difference between each and everything. So coming to my self introduction, my name is Revan. I'm working as a data scientist in Airtel X Labs. I have passed out masters from IISc Bangalore. So IISc Bangalore is very good place for doing any mathematics course, any kind of statistics course. Of course, the analytics course as well. And I worked prior to masters. I worked in Infosys for 2.5 years, and I have done my fourth semester in IIM Bangalore. So I have done my certifications in PG diploma in mobile computing in CDAC and PGP extended course in IIM Bangalore as well. So I have written my research paper recently in Intel Labs while doing my internships. Then I have presented in IGBA IIC Bangalore, and I'm also delegated at Europe India Joint Call on Smart and Integrated Local Systems. So these are my skills overall, which are particularly related to data science. So moving ahead, so okay, let's come to the point. So you'll be having the confusion. So what is artificial intelligence? What is the machine learning? What is the deep learning? And etc. etc. So let's talk in a simpler way so that everyone will understand. So what is artificial intelligence? What is a human intelligence? If you do any work using a human brain, that called as a human intelligence. So what is artificial intelligence? So if you're trying to automate any work, if you're trying to automate any work, if you're trying to do any work without any human intervention, so that can be known as artificial intelligence. A simple example. Take this as a room. Okay, if I'm coming into this room, if I give a clap, so automatically the fan or TV or light should switch on. So what you're doing, instead of going and switching on the light, so you're trying to automate these things. So the whole scenario, you're coming into the room and giving the clap, and you're giving that particular sound to your machine. So this whole scenario, you can take it as artificial intelligence. Then machine learning. Machine learning is a subset of artificial intelligence. So what is the difference between artificial intelligence and machine learning? So machine learning. So take here your fan or switch as a machine. Okay. So instead of giving any clap, so you are training a machine such that the machine or the fan should on because of only your clap or your input. So you are teaching a machine such that the machine is learning when you give a clap or when you give a particular sound, the fan or TV should on. So here you are trying to automate a few things. So that is the main difference between artificial intelligence and machine learning. So then what is a deep learning? Deep learning is a subset of machine learning. Okay. So deep learning. So machine learning, you are training a machine or you are teaching a machine. Deep learning is nothing but you are trying to teach a machine such that how a human brain works. I'm repeating again. Deep learning is nothing but you're trying to train a machine, you're trying to teach a machine such that how a human brain should work. So that comes under deep learning. So there are many examples like deep learning, like automation, car,
Hey,
and
apologies,
robotic.
Revant. Again, I need to stop you. I think your presentation is not visible. Can you just reshare again?
Mm, yeah. It became a pause actually. Is it fine now?
Yeah, perfect.
Okay, so that is a difference between deep learning and machine learning. So machine learning is nothing but you're trying to teach a machine with some kind of machine learning algorithms, with kind of some statistical models, with some kind of mathematical models. Deep learning is like you're trying to replicate a human brain. So that is the reason why deep learning is a subset of machine learning. So as I mentioned, automation cars, anything, a machine which thinks like a human robot, this all comes under deep learning. So there is a lot of robotics in deep learning, which is still going under a lot of research. And NLP is natural language processing. So NLP, if you take an example like Alexa, Siri, Google Assistant, which is nothing but voice to text and text to voice analytics. So that comes under NLP. So when you're trying to handle the data, which is a text or a voice, that comes under NLP. So this is a vast kind of scenario. What is the difference between artificial intelligence, machine learning, and deep learning NLP? So I can say that if you are trying to automate anything, that comes under the whole scenario comes under artificial intelligence. Machine learning is nothing but when you're trying to teach a machine using some machine learning algorithms or using some kind of statistical models, that comes under machine learning. Deep learning, if you're trying to teach a machine such that a human brain is working, that comes under deep learning. And NLP, if you're trying to deal with the data which is a voice and text like Google Assistant, Alexa, Siri, those everything comes under NLP. So we can see here data scientist. So for a data scientist, you should have a knowledge of math, statistics, algorithm, and software engineering and data communication. Or you can say that like your domain knowledge. If example, I'm working in Airtel, so I should have a basic knowledge of mathematics or statistics. I should have a basic knowledge of programming, and I should have also basic knowledge of domain knowledge. What is a domain knowledge? So for me, I'm working in Airtel. For me, telecommunication is my domain knowledge. And if you're working in Amazon, so logistics or e-commerce is your domain knowledge. If someone working in IBM or Accenture, so consulting is the domain knowledge. So that is how a data scientist works. You should not be uh, clean and perfect in every platform. You should have at least basic knowledge of each and everything. And the main thing is you should able to integrate all the platforms. Example, you have to know how to implement your mathematics in your organization work, and you have to know how to integrate my programming and mathematics skills. And this is the what actually any kind of organization or industry or market will expect from you. So you should know how to integrate all these three platforms. And so how come statistics in data science? Okay, so I'm talking about mathematics, statistics in data science, and many people will be thinking there will be a lot of programming data science. How come statistics in them? So you know about exit polls, right? So in news channel, many people will able to predict which party is going to win and how many number of seats are going to win. So that is nothing but you can say that as a kind of you're predicting something. So machine learning is nothing but you're trying to predict something with your previous data or with your present data. So for example, if I'm trying to predict how many number of MP seats are going to win in Bangalore urban area, so I cannot go to each and every person and ask whom did you vote, right? So that comes under population. So instead of going to each and everyone, you take it as a sample collect data. If example, I need to take 100 people from HSR layout, 100 people from Belandur, 100 people from Martali. Even if in the same case example also for Hyderabad, 100 people from Gachibowli, 100 people from Kukatpalli. So what I do is I take a sample actually. So I take a unbiased sample. So what is unbiased sample? As Usha madam is explaining what is unbiased data. So if I'm trying to take all the sample of the population from one particular area, for example, old city. If I take only the data of old city, so if you take old city, there are only particular community people who are staying there, and I'm taking only the feedback of only particular community people. So the data will be very biased. So to decrease the biasness of the data, so I have to maintain the data collection in kind of demographics or and age, gender. It means that I have to take the equal number of sample from male and female population. I have to take equal number of sample from each and every particular area, and I have to take sample from age. If example, I have to take the population or sample same from the engaged people, same from the older age people, or same from the mid age people. Then after taking the sample, you do statistics. So here comes the statistics part. Statistics, you can I can broadly describe statistics in two types: descriptive statistics and inferential statistics. So let's take example of any kind of business when I relate to statistics. So descriptive statistics, collecting, organizing, summarizing, presenting data. So if I have a business, so I have a data of my past 6 months. So I collected the data and I'm seeing how much sales are there for particular May, April, or I can observe how is my sales when coming to particular rainy season or summer season. When I'm trying to do some kind of basic analysis, so whether my sales are down or whether my sales are up, that comes under descriptive statistics. Then what is inferential statistics? So before doing inferential statistics, you have to do some kind of descriptive statistics. Okay, so I have a data of my past 6 months. So how is my sales? So whether does my sales are up or down with a particular day or with a particular month. Then I do my inferential statistics using my past 6 months data. I'm going to predict how my sales are going to be for the next 6 months. Understood? So I have my data of my past 6 months. I have done some certain kind of analysis using descriptive statistics. Then I am doing some. So I am doing some kind of predicting from the past 6 months of data. So making inference, hypothesis testing, determining relationship, making prediction. So hypothesis testing is a kind of statistics method. So what is hypothesis? H not H1. Okay. My hypothesis, one of the hypotheses, my sales are going to be good in the next month. An alternative hypothesis, my sales are not going to good in the next month. So that is the difference between hypothesis and alternative hypothesis. So I'm trying to prove whether my hypothesis one is true or two is true. So that comes in inferential statistics. So I can broadly describe statistics into two types: descriptive statistics and inferential statistics. Descriptive statistics is nothing but you're doing certain analysis on the data what you have. Inferential statistics is nothing but with the data you have, you are going to predict what is going to be in the next 6 months. So these statistics is there from like past 100 years. So that is the reason why statistics plays a major role in data science or machine learning. So use some kind of statistics models and implement in the machine learning. Clear? We'll go to the next slide. Okay. So machine learning. So how many types the machine learning is divided? So machine learning is divided into supervised learning, unsupervised learning, reinforcement learning. Okay. So what is the difference between supervised learning, unsupervised learning, reinforcement learning? So this is a basic question where freshers or any interview you face. So they can hit you with this question: what is the difference between supervised learning, unsupervised learning, and reinforcement learning? If you are able to find the difference between these three types of machine learning, it will be good for you. So let's take an example of Excel sheet. Okay. So Excel sheet, you have a data, name, age, gender. So you have all the data. So if example y is equal to x1 plus x2 plus x3. So you have a data of y and x as well. So it means you are going to predict y using x. Okay, you are going to predict y using x. X is your independent variable. Y is your dependent variable. Why y is a dependent variable? Because y is a dependent variable because it is dependent on x. X is an independent variable. Why x is an independent variable? Because it is independent. So you are going to predict y. So y is whether my sales are going to high or low using your x. So x might be my sales, accounts, revenue, and number of products delivered. So these can be things. So supervised learning system is presented with the data which is labeled, which means that each data tagged with the correct label. So if you open Gmail, so you have a mail like spam, not spam. Okay. So when you open the Gmail, you can see that social, promotion, spam, boxy waiting list. So what does the Google do? Google do some kind of supervised machine learning such that if a mail is coming to your inbox, that will automatically go into whether it is a promotion or whether it is a social or whether it is an important mail for you. That is how Google use some kind of supervised learning to differentiate which is a spam, which is a not spam in your mailbox. Okay. And unsupervised learning. So unsupervised learning is nothing but So the data doesn't have a label. For example, if you open your Google Photos, I'm mentioning again Google Photos, not gallery. If you open Google Photos, you can see all of your photos will go into one folder. All your father photos will be going into one folder, and all your friend photo will be going into other folder, and all the selfies will be going into one folder, and some kind of landscapes or any travel pictures will be going into one folder. See, Google doesn't know who you are, who is your father, or all these kind of things. Then how come Google is able to differentiate the photos between you and your father and your friend? See, you can see the photos here like Mickey Mouse and Donald Duck and Bugs Bunny. So after doing this kind of unsupervised learning, so this kind of unsupervised learning will be able to differentiate between which is your photos and which is other photos. And unsupervised learning, an AI system is presented with the unlabeled, uncategorized data. So unlabeled, what is unlabeled data? So when the data is unlabeled, so Google doesn't know what is you and what is your friend. Even if you open Facebook also, and if you upload any photo, you'll be getting automatic tag that is this your photo, should I tag you, or is this friend of you, should I tag you? So how is Facebook is able to recognize what is you and what is friend? So this comes under unsupervised learning. And reinforcement learning. Reinforcement learning, I can say this is like advanced learning. A reinforcement algorithm or agent learn by interacting with its environment. The agent receives rewards by performing correctly and penalties for performing incorrectly. So you can see here a robot here. So after this robot going to the fire, it reduces minus 50 points, and it gets to know it have done mistake. Okay, and next time what it will do, it will keep in mind that I should not go near fire. So I can say that deep learning comes under a reinforcement learning. So kind of, and if you take about a self-driving car, so self-driving car is a kind of technique. It does mistake and it learns by itself. So you can see Uber is trying to generate automation cars, and sometimes you can see their the cars are crashing, and you can see they are doing some kind of mistake. So it is, you can't say that is a failure of the project. From the failure, they are trying to learn automate such things. If example, there is some kind of turning, so for the first 10 times it have failed while turning the car without the driver. So after 10 times, those people will do algorithm or do modeling such that it have to take perfect turn when the car is able to drive. So that is a vast difference between supervised, unsupervised, and reinforcement learning. And as you can see, y is equal to mx plus b is your basic line equation what you have learned in school. In statistics, you call that as a y is equal to alpha plus beta x plus beta, alpha plus beta x plus epsilon naught. This is an error term. So y, as I mentioned, y is your dependent variable, x is your independent variable, alpha and beta is a coefficient. So it means you're trying to predict y using your x. So the relationship between y and x will be difference between will be determined by alpha and beta, and whether your alpha is beta or positive or negative. As your x is increasing, whether your y is decreasing or increasing, this will be determined by alpha and beta. So this is a regression equation, a statistical model that determines the specific relationship between the predictor variable and outcome variable. And outcome variable is nothing but your dependent variable. A model regression equation allows you to predict the outcome with a relatively small amount of error. So when I talked about regression equation, you can see in the previous slide, machine learning, supervised learning, and regression. So all the machine learning model starts with the regression. If you are able to uh, get the complete knowledge of how the regression works or regression equation works, which is derived from your school mathematical equation y is equal to mx plus b. So when you're learning this mathematical equation y is equal to mx plus b, you might not get to know where I'm using this mathematical equation in my real life. I didn't use in my job or anything. But once you start this kind of data science courses, you will understand how can I implement my school mathematics and graduation mathematics in a real life. That will be really fun, and you can see that a lot of mathematical applications in your real life. So that is how you apply mathematics. For example, y is equal to mx plus c. This is a mathematical equation. When you see this mathematical equation from statistics, that is y is equal to alpha plus beta x, and you convert this y is equal to alpha plus beta x in your kind of machine learning model, and you try to program this y is equal to alpha x plus beta, and that is how it works. So that is how I can say how this regression and mathematics starts with machine learning and come to supervised learning. And there will be a lot of hundreds of models in supervised learning and unsupervised learning. So if you try to able at least spend 1 week to 10 days understanding the regression equation particularly, because if you understand how the regression equation works, then it will be very easy for you to understand how the other machine learning models in the advanced machine learning models also. And if you take advanced machine learning like neural network, if you are able to understand how the regression works, you can able to understand how this advanced machine learning like neural network works, random forest works, other type of things works. So I can say when you're predicting something in the real world, how many ways I can predict? What are the two possible ways? Classification and regression. Classification is nothing but you're classifying 0 or 1. Regression is nothing but you're trying to numbers. Okay, so you can see weather data. So if you see the last 5 minutes news of every news bulletin, they'll be saying weather prediction. So how many ways the weather can be predicted? Two ways: classification, whether it is going to rain or not rain, and regression. And that means number. They are going to predict what will be temperature in the next 24 hours or next 1 week. So if you take weather prediction in the broader way, they can be predict either number or classification. So that is how it works in the real world also. You take any machine learning model, either you can predict a number or you can predict a class. So 0 or 1, whether this party is going to win or lose, or whether this particular team is going to win or lose in a football match, or whether my sales are going to up or low, whether the stock is going to higher low. So even in the stock market also, there is a lot of machine learning model. Before they used to predict using some kind of traditional methods. Now they are applying a lot of machine learning models. Whether my stock is going to, if example, Reliance stock, the Reliance stock is going to be up or low by tomorrow. Okay, so they can say up or low, or whether they can say at afternoon 12 o'clock the share will be 460 rupees. At 1 o'clock the share will be 475 rupees. Using these machine learning models, so people are able to predict this kind of stock pricing, and they are keeping investing money and they are taking it also. And of course, because of these sudden COVID issues, all the machine learning models and all the analysis have got failed because this is a sudden thing. Okay, so now we discussed about what is supervised learning and supervised learning. So let's look into dive for like deep learning. So deep learning. So how a child will get to know whether it is cat or dog? Okay. So how a child will know? So you'll be showing a cat and will be saying to child, this is a cat, this is a cat, and you'll be showing the dog, and this is a dog, this is a dog. So in the same way, deep learning is an artificial intelligence function that imitates the working of a human brain in processing data and creating patterns for use in decision making. So in the same way as you how you teach a child, okay, take child as a machine, okay, you are teaching a machine, this is a cat, this is a dog. So you are trying to uh, make the machine mind, this is a cat, this cat have four legs, and this have fur, and these have 2 years, and you try to differentiate the between what is a cat and dog. So if example take a child, okay, if you didn't teach what is a cat or dog from the childhood, so even the child becomes after 25 years, she will not know what is the difference between cat and dog. So in the same way, you try to teach a machine like a child, this is a cat, this is a dog. So that is how basics of deep learning. Okay, so we can say that pictures, uh, if you send a picture and if you send this into neural network, so what is a neural network? So what is a unit of a human brain? Neurons. Okay, so neuron is a unit of a human brain. So if you take a network of a neurons, so that is a neural network. So you're trying to create a neurons in your programming language such that how a human brain is thinking. So if example, if you try to train a machine, what is a cat, what is a dog, using hundreds of images, once you send the dog picture, so it will able to differentiate, this is a 95% of dog, this is a 5% of cat. So you try to, this is a human brain, and you try to replicate this human brain in kind of neural mesh structure If I send a particular photo, it will say what is the difference between cat and dog. So, so you can see this is how the image recognition works and using the deep learning. So you can say this is one of the best method. So this is like basic structure of a neural network, how a human brain thinks. If you go into advanced, okay. So this is a simple neural network. This is a deep learning advanced neural network. So in the basic neural network, you can say that you can send an image, and this image will say man in black shirt is playing. It is kind of basic image recognition. And when you go into advanced deep learning, automation vehicles, okay. So this is a car, and there is a no driver. Imagine there is a no driver, and how you are getting a data. You are getting a data from this particular screen. It means the car is trying to capture the images, and it is able to differentiate. And here the vehicle is there, here the vehicle is there, and if I need to go, I should go from this side. So it is trying to get the images continuously, and it is able to differentiate where there is a vehicle, where there is a no vehicle, and how I should drive. Okay, and I think after 5G comes, there will be a lot of internet speed, and for this kind of automation cars, you need a lot of high internet speed, and you need a lot of high amount of computational power. And once the 5G comes, I think the whole AI scenario might also change. This AI is particularly dependent on technology around us. For example, think about what is the cost of a RAM of 1 GB 10 years back, and what is the cost of 1 GB RAM now. Okay, and think about what is the size of 256 GB pen drive, and what is the size of 256 GB memory card now. So for all these kind of automation things, you need a lot of computational power. You need a lot of space to afford. Uh, that is how our partners are. Thanks to everyone. So thanks for the opportunity. Thanks Mahesh for giving this opportunity.